Hello, it's Valerie from Shalebrook Handcrafted Soap in Moser River, Nova Scotia. Today I'm going to be doing a hot process soap with activated charcoal. And I looked at using activated charcoal for a while. I see a lot of people making activated charcoal bars for people's acne-prone faces, skin and things like that. And I kept putting it off because I have a couple of bars that people really like, and also ocean water is, sea salt water or ocean water is really good for acne prone skin. There's a lot of things out there and it doesn't work for everybody, but I've been looking at it a bit more, and I usually use activated charcoal and natural soaps for doing swirls or ribbons in it. Today it's going to be probably 2/3 of the soap, and I did a bit of research on what really good non-comedogenic oils were, which are oils which don't clog pores. And it was actually a bit difficult coming up with a formula, but I managed to look at oils that were good for the skin and good for the face. And I think I put together a fairly good formula here. And I'm going to make some additions to it, which will be hemp milk. Hemp oil is really good for acne, I've read. But I don't have hemp oil, so I did have some hemp seed and I made my own hemp milk. So that'll be going into this soap, along with some turmeric powder and turmeric essential oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split this 2-pound formula up, and I'm going to make 2/3 of it activated charcoal. Part of it's going to be turmeric, and another part will be colored actually with spinach and parsley powder. But there's avocado puree also going in this soap. I've got my avocado puree here. And what I did with that is I peeled the avocado and took out the seed, took half of the avocado and pureed it along with aloe vera juice. And once it's pureed, I also put it through this little plastic fine mesh sieve, and I pushed that through with one of these spoonellas I got from Steph's Micas and Moores. And I do that because I don't want any pieces of avocado turning moldy in my soap. I want to make sure it's done. So my oils are getting heated up and my lye is getting ready. I'm going to stick blend that into my oils once I have them all done. And then I have my charcoal mixed up here, my activated charcoal, and that's mixed up with some jojoba oil. And I'm going to be putting vitamin E oil in this soap as well. I have my turmeric powder along with sea buckthorn powder, some sea buckthorn oil, and some turmeric essential oil. And then I have my spinach and parsley done up with some jojoba oil as well. And I'm going to be putting those over on my stove, which has my hot water, and they all get room temperature there. And then I'm going to add my hemp milk. And what I did to make that hemp milk was I used about half a cup of hemp milk seed with 2 cups of water, and I pureed it for a couple of minutes, and I strained mine. I've read that you don't have to, but there were pieces of it came out, so I'm glad I strained it. So I'm putting 4 ounces of hemp milk in this soap. 2 ounces of it will go in through the cook, 2 ounces after the cook. Let me see, what else should I tell you about? Oh, I have some Angora rabbit fiber in here, which adds a lot of keratin, which is really good for the skin. Let me see, I will be putting this formula on as well, and so you'll see everything there. I looked up essential oils that were really good for acne prone skin as well, and so I came up with a blend of tea tree oil, lavender, and I put a little tiny bit of myrrh essential oils in there. So this is going to be what people will look at as an all-natural soap as well. And then I'm super fatting extra after the cook with borage oil, tamanu oil, evening primrose, and sea buckthorn. And I have that over there getting warmed up as well. So my husband's going to mount that camera on the tripod, and I thank him for his help today. Thank you, honey. And we'll get going, and I'll start this soap. I'm going to do it on a high temperature, or medium high temperature, and I'll stop and start the video camera, not to waste your time, hopefully. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this. Hello, so we're back, and I have my hemp milk here, and it's warm. I had it over by the stove. And here we have my avocado with the aloe vera juice pureed. And I'm going to put that in now. I'm just going to stick blend this just till it's all incorporated in with the oils. I'm going to take a temperature on those oils. My crock pot is on warm. And those oils are now are about 156. My lye is about 160. And I'm going to strain my lye in there next. So I usually strain my lye all the time. Not very often I don't strain it. If I'm using silk fibers or Angora fibers, things that don't completely get dissolved, I will strain. That's up to you, what you'd like to do. The other thing that I don't have on just yet is you want to make sure that you wear safety glasses, protect your eyes, and you want to wear gloves because it's dangerous, or it can be dangerous, working with lye. And so I'm going to stick blend this, and as I do, I'm going to add my warm hemp milk in there. And I see there's some stuff, like little sludge there in the bottom. I might add that in too because it's not picky. I don't want my soap to be picky or scratchy. You'll also see that that avocado, that beautiful green, is turning like a tan brown color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to a thick trace and cover it with plastic, and I'll time it for 5 minutes. If something happens between that time, I'll turn the camera back on and show you. Hello, so it's been 5 minutes, and because the temperatures were a bit lower and my crock pot is on warm, you can see that it is starting to rise up, and that'll start rising a bit faster there. But I brought you back so that you could see it. And I'm going to whisk that down. I'm just going to let it get a bit higher. We'll see how fast that's going to go, because you always want to be careful to catch it. So I see it starting to crack right there. So you can see it just a bit on top that it's not done. I'm just going to take the temperature of that. So it's about 215 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to whisk that down. I'm still going to leave my crock on warm. And we'll see if I've already actually started the timer for 3 more minutes, because I think it might rise again a bit faster than that. It's a different formula for me because it's pretty low in palm and pretty low in coconut oil, because those supposedly are comedogenic oils that can clog. Now, I don't know how the saponification affects those oils. Once it goes through saponification, your soap is basically a salt product. but I wanted to try to be as good as I could making this formula to help people out if it will. The other thing I wanted to let you know that the oils that I used after I'd done some research was Almond Oil and Camelina Seed Oil, which I absolutely love. I love cooking with it as well, but it's incredibly good for your skin. And I actually knew the people I bought this from, that Camelina Seed Oil. They were farmers up in Windsor, and now I think they've moved to Prince Edward Island. And I used castor oil, coconut, olive, palm, shea butter, and I used 25% beef tallow, because beef tallow is absolutely phenomenal for the skin. And you can check all those oils out, and you can change anything you want. Like you can actually change that hemp seed milk to jasmine rice milk. I actually was I was really pulled to put jasmine rice milk in this, but I thought no, because hemp is supposed to be so good for acne, I thought I would try the milk as well and just see how it goes. So right now I'm going to go over and check my timer, and looks like nothing's really happening there right now. It'll probably be a couple minutes, so I'm going to turn the video camera off. Oh, that has been 3 minutes, and I can see where it's raising. I guess if you don't want to watch, you can always fast forward. I might just leave it. I'll just check that timer and put a couple minutes on it. And see what happens from there. I don't know if you can really tell by looking at this, but that went from a medium thick trace, and in 5 minutes it volcanoed. Not a big one, not a messy one. This is only 2-pound soap, and I whisked it down, and it was applesauce stage. And we'll see what the next stage is. We'll see if that goes to potato stage. I think it probably will. I'm not sure though, because this formula is just a bit different. Oh yeah, the other thing was that this soap will be probably a little bit lower on the INS with a 136. So I added, usually I use 5% if it's 138 INS, but this time I'm going to use 6% sodium lactate to help harden that up. I think it's going to be fine anyway. Considering 100% olive oil bar is probably 0 cleansing, 72 conditioning, and as low, one of the lowest soaps you can get for hardening, but once you do it, it's probably one of the hardest bars you have. So sometimes those numbers don't always turn out how Soap Calc says, but one thing I always watch my cleansing numbers and my conditioning numbers. And I always try to keep my cleansing numbers low and my conditioning numbers above 156. This one, the conditioning is, above 56. This one here, the conditioning is 58 and the cleansing is 11. Which cleansing doesn't mean it doesn't clean. It just means it won't dry out your skin as bad. And this soap is going to be super fatted at 8%. So I see that that's starting to cook around there. 2 minutes is up. So altogether, so far that's been 10 minutes. And this is cooking on warm. And remember, if you're using plastic wrap, try not to get it onto the steel part of your crock, because it can, depending on your crock, melt. So right now, I would say that that is a combination of applesauce and potato. And I'm going to cover that for 3 minutes. If something happens before then, I'll bring you back. Okay, so it's been 3 minutes. And I can see that it's cooking all around the edges. And It's about 215 Fahrenheit. We might get some more heat off of this once I start whisking it. But now that's potato stage right there. I don't know, can you see that in there? Okay, my husband says you can see that. So actually that's potato stage right now. And probably within a minute that'll be Vaseline stage. You can probably see the steam coming off of that, I'm not sure. I'm going to shut that off right now. So my crock is on off. And that is thick Vaseline right now. So what I'm going to do, I am going to add my super fat, and I'm going to add sugar that's been mixed with aloe vera juice. So this is 2 pounds of soap, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of sugar that's been dissolved in 2 tablespoons, sorry, not aloe vera juice, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And the super fat is borage oil, an evening primrose, tamanu, and sea buckthorn. So here's my super fat, and that's been warmed up on the stove. I'm going to unplug that, but I'm still going to leave it in the pan. So I'm adding this heated up. This one here is probably a medium heat because I just had it setting beside the burner that has the hot water in it. You can see that using 2 pounds, it really shows how dry the soap can get when you save a lot of liquid for afterwards. So that's my heated up sugar and apple cider vinegar. And what I'm going to do with this, you can do it however you like. I'm going to cover this again and let it set for 5 minutes before I add the rest of my ingredients. And I'll come back and show you that. Hello, it's been 5 minutes. I did a zap test as soon as I shut the camera off. There was no zap, so all the lye is gone out of this. And now I'm going to add the 6% sodium lactate, 2 tablespoons of yogurt, 2 tablespoons of honey with aloe vera juice, and the rest of the hemp milk. I just wanted to show you that I'm adding this and to tell you that there is no lye left. Can you bring me over the hemp milk, please? And the honey, that's good. Thank you. So these have been heated up. You want to make sure you get your yogurt really nicely stirred in there. I'm going to stir up this hemp milk. And that was heated warm too as well. And then I'm going to add this honey. And that batter was about 168 Fahrenheit because I didn't want to lose the properties of my honey. And I'm also going to add my, well, no, maybe I might. I just might let this set. I'm going to let this set another 5 minutes. And then I'm going to bring you back, and I will add my, well actually, no, I think I'm going to add my essential oil right now, which was the tea tree, lavender, and the myrrh. Just a little bit of myrrh. I think I used a 1.25 tea tree. And 0.75 of an ounce of lavender and 0.25 of an ounce of myrrh. I'll have to check those right now. I'm just trying to think what it was. It's a lovely smell if you like tea tree, and I do. My hubby doesn't like tea tree, but I love it. But it's so good for your skin. So you can see how that essential oil thickened that up quite a bit, but that's okay. So I'm just going to cover that over again with some plastic, and I'll bring you back in 5 minutes, and we'll separate the soap and design it, and we'll go from there. Hello, we're back. That was about 4 minutes, and these are the 2 cups I'm going to be using for the spinach and the turmeric. And I had hot water in them to keep them hot. And I'm just going to divvy them up a bit. It's one enough. And when I was reading about how much activated charcoal to use, it looked like the consensus to me was about half a tablespoon per pound. So I think I might end up doing more activated charcoal for that. So there's my turmeric and sea buckthorn powder. Can you see that, Brian? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I'm just going to add some hot water to that to get the rest of that out. So if you find that you're going to do your colors and they're not quite, like they're extremely thick, you can always add a teaspoon of hot water to it, which I think I just might do to this one. It's pretty thick. We're going to have a thick swirl today, folks. So once I get this mixed up, I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap and set it over on the stove till I get everything else stirred up. And wow, is that thick? That is some thick, that is some thick batter. Okay, let's put a little bit more, and here's my spinach. Spinach and parsley with jojoba oil. I'll get a teaspoon and mix up in that. Looks like I'm only going to have, yeah, I guess that looks about 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to put this one over and cover it. And let's see how this is going to look. I'll get some water in that one. I think that's definitely going to need some more activated charcoal, so I'm going to get Brian to turn that camera off while I mix up some, probably another tablespoon of activated charcoal. Alright, so I mixed up another tablespoon of activated charcoal, and I think that's going to be better. I don't want to put too much in. And then I'm going to put half the batter in here, or almost half of it, of that charcoal. On the floor. I'm just going to give that a little spray, and then I'm going to use half of the turmeric in there. And this is going to be a thick swirl, that's for sure. I think the last time I used avocado in a soap, it actually thickened up the soap too. But then I'm using 6% sodium lactate as well, so that could be part of it, I suppose. I don't know, I'm no expert and I'm learning all the time. So I'm just going to spray some in here to keep that moist. Then I'm going to put almost all of the spinach on there. Is that still in the camera? I moved it. I think this is going to be a simple swirl today. And then what I'll do, once this is all finished, I'll show you if there's any foam off of this, any lather I mean. Should always bang, when hot process, I find it's always a really good thing to bang your soap down, because once you swirl it, you should not be banging it down afterwards. Sometimes it can make your swirls that are round and nice turn angular. Oh, I just spilled some stuff there. Okay, I think that's all I'll put on till I swirl that. So I had my hanger tool that I'm going to swirl with. I had that over being heated up as well. So I'm just doing a sort of figure 8 swirl there. Maybe I'll do some circles, not a good thing. You should never change your design once you have it, but I just did. So who knows what that's going to come out like. But I will show pictures of the cut, and as soon as I get everything up, I'll actually bring you back and show you if there's any, what that lather looks like off of there. And I'm just going to finish the top on here. So I'm getting things up from my activated charcoal avocado turmeric soap with hemp milk. And I just wanted to show you that the foam and lather that can come from this. So I just got a bit of that off my hands, but I'm going to whip it up here into some lather, or I hope I will. And it's a bit gray, but not much at all. And nice lather on that. Quite happy with how that's looking. Very pleased so far, and we'll see how it is on the face. And so I wanted to show you that, just from stuff stuck on my hand from that puck. And I'm going to put it in the freezer for 4 hours, and I'll take it out and cut it, and I'll post pictures along with the formula. So thank you for joining me today. God bless. Talk to you later, God willing. Bye-bye.